Good afternoon. It is week 10. I'm Tarek Patel.
It is week 10, and I'm Randy Rosenblum, this is SoCal Prep Report. Always wanted to start a show like this. Breaking news! And the man that broke it was Tarek Patel. So I'm not going to talk about it. I'm going to hand it over to you, Tarek. What did you do this morning?
Feels good. I actually had the information late last night, was able to actually put sometimes it was quite convenient. I got the information like 10:30, was able to take my time, put some things together, just knowing it probably wasn't going to break at that time. And even if I wanted to break it at that time, probably not a great time to do it. No one would see it that late at night. So I was able to put some things together, including a video on Norco having to forfeit its 6 wins this year. They'll go from 6-3 to 0-9 before playing Vista Marietta tonight in their final game of the year. There's so much to dive into. We won't get too far into the weeds. They could potentially still make the playoffs, win or loss at 0-10 or 1-9. But basically a retroactive penalty due to CIF violations that include 2 bylaws, including undue influence and falsifying documentation. So once they found out that information, basically those players are deemed ineligible, and they retroactively have to forfeit those games now.
Isn't that a little bit harsh to forfeit 6 games over a couple individuals and paperwork?
Yeah, no, there's no question that is a fair, side to have when there's forfeits, kids maybe being ousted of playoff opportunity. I'm with you on that. It just seems like with the adults responsible, why are the kids now paying the price? It's a tough go, but that's the story there. California high school football team forfeits all wins due to CIF violations, and it's Norco in this case.
Got to find out tonight how they're going to do, and I find myself now rooting for Norco because I don't think they should have been penalized like that, losing 6 games. It's only in the record. As Tarek said, they can make the playoffs. Yep. All could be good by the end of the year if they can make a run. Speaking of Norco, how'd they do on the field last week? Well, they actually played pretty well, especially offensively. They played Corona Centennial 59-49 for the Huskies, but Norco showed up.
Yeah, they did, and they're a good team. And actually, what's the bummer part about the forfeits is they were in contention for an automatic playoff spot out of the Big West League. Now with the forfeits, they'll be an at-large berth team, a potential team now. Point is Norco is very capable, and their best player is a kid named Blake Wong, 13 catches, 206 yards, and 3 touchdowns last week, and only a junior, so they have talent.
Yeah, Dean Gibson had a huge rushing game, 4 touchdowns for the Huskies. Catalano threw the ball effectively, and there's no question Corona Centennial's got that offensive going. But Norco put up 49, so you wonder about the defense going forward. All right, let's check out some of these other games. St. John Bosco. We don't have to worry about the Braves. They're ranked #1 in the country. Koa, the quarterback, Malaolu, 42-0. He threw 3 touchdowns. He ran for another TD. The Braves are obviously a powerhouse team. We'll talk about their matchup with Mater Dei tomorrow night, but this is a Bosco team that's playing on all cylinders.
I previewed their game against Mater Dei earlier this week, and after thinking and stewing on it, and even talking with Jason Negro, maybe I mentioned it on the show last week. This might be the least talked about #1 team in the country in recent memory, and that's because everyone's talking about Mater Dei having 2 losses, which is mind-blowing, and then everyone's also talking about the contenders, the Santa Margaritas, the Sierra Canyons of the world. So it's funny, that is taken away from the shine of St. John Bosco, and I think Jason Negro likes it that way.
Well, the shine, they beat a good Servite team, and they beat them badly, 42-0. All right, you mentioned Sierra Canyon. They, too, are a dominant football team. This is their 5th shutout of the season. Bishop Amont's had some good moments, a couple good victories this year, but they were no match for the Trailblazers.
Yeah, who is? That Sierra Canyon's 9-0, is going to finish the season 10-0. They play Loyola on Friday night, so it's likely they're going to finish 10-0. 5 shutouts, could be a 6th, depending on what they want to do on Halloween night. Could get real spooky there. Point is Sierra Canyon is a serious championship contender for that Division I title.
So Santa Margarita, they're playing well, and they continue to win football games. Carson Palmer's their head football coach, and Their offense is getting a little bit better. They knock off Olu by 3 touchdowns, as you can see. The question is their offense. Their defense has been brilliant all year.
Defense is just as good as Sierra Canyon's. I don't know about better, but certainly in the same ilk of talent and impact of winning is that Santa Margarita defense. And it's actually shined even more. Why? Because Sierra Canyon scores points. Santa Margarita's, they beat Mater Dei 7-6. So I mean, you're talking about the defense being the catalyst for any of their success. I don't know about their offense. Trent Mosley's back. It gives them a chance.
Mater Dei had no trouble with Jay Serra. This is no shock at all. Mater Dei expecting to feast on Jay Serra, and they did. The running back Justin Lewis had 3 rushing touchdowns for the Monarchs.
Yeah, the Monarchs, again, we're talking about, and this is something I talked about with Jason Negro, the St. John Bosco coach, about the game this week. Coach, what kind of team are you expecting? He goes, look, if they don't turn the ball over 11 times, it was like 7 times. If they don't turn the ball over a bunch of times against Corona Centennial, they probably win the game by 2 touchdowns. And then the loss against Santa Margarita, they missed wide open passes down the field. If one of those connects, they're unbeaten. So that Mater Dei team's very good. There is something missing, though, and that's why they have the 2 losses.
Well, let's hope for their sake Ryan Hopkins has an up game this weekend. He's been up and down all year.
Yep.
If Hopkins plays well, like he did against Gorman, then they have a chance. We shall see. We'll talk about that more later. The next one is Crean Lutheran with a brilliant comeback. Huntington Beach led this game 21-0.
Yep.
And Crean Lutheran stormed all the way back.
Yeah, Crean Lutheran, I'm drawing a blank. Oh, Caden Jones is their quarterback. Really a standout player. They've got talent. They're likely going to be in Division II, which I think might be just a tad high for them. So they've played themselves into a premier division for the playoffs. The question is, how deep can they go in Division II?
How about this one in the Alpha League? San Clemente shocks previously undefeated Los Alamitos 28-9. I talked to Ray Fenton, our guy who's the head coach at Los Alamitos, and he said his team just didn't have a great game. He credited San Clemente. He says San Clemente's better than people think, but they just didn't play well, the Griffins.
Yeah, I think there was definitely a shock. San Clemente is known for being a good football program. There's no question. Coach Ortiz does a great job. But I just wasn't expecting them to beat Los Alamitos. The Griffins have been rolling and playing good football. So it adds a little pressure for their last game against Mission Viejo, which I know we're going to talk about here soon.
Talking about Mission Viejo, they took it to Edison in another Alpha League. There's only 4 teams in the Alpha League. Mission Viejo continues to roll. Another huge game for the quarterback, Fahey. He threw nearly 400 yards there. A lot of touchdowns. That's a very good Mission Viejo team that has some great wins already this year.
Yeah, that's going to be that's another Division I contender that's creating buzz and adding to the parity story of this season. Can they protect Luke Fahey? I don't know. Against a great front like Santa Margarita or Sierra Canyon, I don't think so. But like you've said already, time will tell.
I wanted to check his number. The exact real estate was 381 yards a week ago for Fahey.
Ohio State.
He's going to Ohio State. He is committed to the Buckeyes. The rich get richer. Fahey's got a great release, strong arm, reads the defense. He'll be fun. By the way, he's going to be on TV tonight. We'll talk about that as well. Right here, he's going to be on television. Next game we want to talk about is Laguna Beach and Dana Hills. You talk about the ultimate shootout. The quarterback, Jack Hurst, 387 yards, 5 touchdowns for the Breakers. The running back on the other side, Radley Geis, 237 yards, and a rush for 5 scores for Dana Hills. What a ball game.
I think these teams came in unbeaten. I think they were both 8-0, if I'm not mistaken, coming into that Week 9 game. And that's just fun, right? I mean, gosh, someone's got to lose and someone's got to win. So my friend Jack Paulin says, someone's O has got to go. And I think that's pretty good. Great game there.
I love that line. Good line, Jack Paulin. I know you're a baseline league guy.
I like the baseline league.
I know you do. So I want you to digest this score and give us your thoughts, because this is a surprise, isn't it?
No question. And I think the baseline league is known, for its, it's got definitely some good basketball, but its football, is right now it's Damien, Chino Hills, and Rancho Cucamonga. So Chino Hills goes and beats Damien in what I think is a stunning result, okay? Damien now, which has now 2 losses in the league, also lost to Rancho Cucamonga. So this week it's Chino Hills versus Rancho Cucamonga for the winner-takes-all baseline league championship. But win or loss, Chino Hills, known for being a basketball school, certainly has some good football.
Proven by their victory over Damien. So is Lusinger. They've got a program that's in the top 10 right now. They are outstanding. Knock off Miracosta in another Bay League game. But the game I want to talk about, let's move ahead to the next one.
Sure.
Western Christian, 35. Arrowhead Christian, nothing, and we have highlights. Do you know that Western Christian is undefeated?
I did know that, and I believe Arrowhead Christian has 1 loss.
This is Carter Doolittle doing his thing, throwing the touchdown to Connor Schofield. Gotta love that. Again, I've become a big Western Christian guy in this program. And Doolittle does it again. A perfect throw, getting it to Marco Beltran. This football team, like I said, is rolling. Now, to be honest, the team they played, Arrowhead Christian's got a lot of freshmen, a lot of sophomores in the lineup. Great footage there from our game of the week. That is a very good football team at Western Christian.
Quick correction. Thank you to my producer here who told me they don't have 1 win. I was wrong. Or excuse me, they don't have 1 loss. They only have 1 win. Arrowhead Christian.
Arrowhead, yeah.
Yeah. I said they had 1 loss.
Well, a lot of close
No,
games.
no, there's a big difference there. Yeah.
Come on, we're here to make the kids feel good, aren't we?
Well, it's the truth.
All right, here's our Max Preps. Or do we change this? I think you might have changed this. This might be Tark's.
I sent Larry mine, so I think this is mine.
Okay,
yeah.
These are yours?
Yeah, these are mine.
Okay, so I sent in Max. You send in the real standings because yours are right.
Yeah, Max is like computer and stuff, so these are like more with a little more personality.
Yeah,
per
this
se.
has pizzazz. This
Yeah.
has the truth. This has that human element from you.
No, that's
All
what. Yeah, that's what it is.
Bosco on top, no surprise. There.
Yeah, Sierra Canyon 2, Centennial 3. Although I think you could switch. You know, the Centennial, Mission Viejo, Santa Margarita. You could put them in any order, and it like really wouldn't matter. But the 2 at the bottom, I think, Lusinger and Corona Del Mar. I just felt, hey, 9-0. They got good quarterback play. They're playing good football, and other teams are losing. Like Marietta Valley lost, Los Alamitos lost. So it's like, hey, man, you got to reward the teams that are winning, and Lusinger and Corona Del Mar are doing that. They are winning football games.
Lusinger 7-1. You mentioned them before. They're playing good football. All right, there are some perfect teams. I put down 10. There might even be more than that. But, again, we had the Western Christian team. But I just wrote them down. Bosco, Laguna Beach, Sierra Canyon, Crean, Lutheran, Crespi, Westlake, the Western Christian team that I'm on the bandwagon now. On Oxnard, the Pacifica team, Corona Del Mar, and Rio Hondo Prep. Any thoughts on any of those?
Yeah, I think there's a couple other random ones too. I think like Palm Springs is 10, and there's a couple other little small schools. But anyway, look, I think it's quite an accomplishment. Look, I think in the grand scheme, Randy, you never, and I think coaches or players would be lying, you never come into the season thinking, I want to go 10-0. You don't, that's not really a goal. Your goal is to win league, win a CIF championship. And en route to those goals, if you can accomplish going undefeated, winning league MVP, maybe breaking a school record or 2, that's just kind of whipped cream on top. But it is not something that you set out to do. Be that as it may, congrats to those teams that have their undefeated record intact going into week 10.
All right, let's talk about the LA City section. They had their East LA Classic. It was the 90th version of the Classic.
Oh, look at that close game.
East LA College. Well, Roosevelt scored a couple late touchdowns. So a little window dressing. Garfield had the game in hand, but it is nice to see that Roosevelt tried to make it competitive at the end. It's really a good performance for them. Zastis Jaragi had 2 touchdown rushes for the winning Bulldogs, and it seems like every year Garfield wins this game. Let's move ahead. San Pedro over Gardena. The note here is that the quarterback, Seth Solario, for the Pirates, he's putting up huge numbers every week. He throws for 4 touchdowns. Braden Villegas had a long kickoff return, close to 100 yards for a touchdown for San Pedro as well, and they knock off Gardena. And the other game from the city I wanted to mention was Birmingham, which struggled with Granada Hills. And I know you're a Jim Rose guy and you think Birmingham's really good. This is kind of alarming if you're using your scoring.
Yeah, no.
Because you pick out and say, hey, this score, this is the difference of one game over the other game. they only beat them by 10 and the other team beat them by 30. This Granada Hills team is not that strong, and yet Birmingham had a tough time.
Yeah, no, there's no question. And I think I've said this before, styles makes fights. Is that, and so maybe, hey, if you're a playoff team in the city and you know you're going to play Birmingham, I would get a hold of this Granada Hills film and see what really happened that night. Be that as it may, they're teenagers. You have an off night, but you still find a way to win, and that's what matters.
Let's take a look at the top 10. This is Max Preps' top 10 for the LA City section. Interesting, the game tonight is San Pedro against Carson. They've been flip-flopping the last few weeks on who should be number one. Birmingham drops to 4. Pally's undefeated in the city section, and so forth and so on going down the line. Eagle Rock has really bounced back from a slow start this year. And King Drew down on the bottom is at 10. And Crenshaw out of the Coliseum League goes to 9.
Yeah, again, I think the only thing I'll say about these rankings is I just believe it's going to be Birmingham and Carson at the end of the day. Palisades will be in the mix and maybe give someone a run for their money. I think that's the team that maybe has the most chance to be, I don't know if you want to call them even a Cinderella. They're a top seed, so that wouldn't be Cinderella. It'd be more of a surprise if they knocked off of a juggernaut like Carson or Birmingham. Reason being, they just score a ton of points and their defense isn't that great, and I don't think they're that physical. So when you talk about Carson and Birmingham, boy, you're going to get knocked off the line a little bit. I don't know if Palisades is ready for that.
A little shout out here for a guy by the name of Christian Leslie. He plays for Hamilton High School. He had 10 receptions and a loss last week to Palisades. But he's up to 98 this year for the Yankees of Hamilton. That's a regular season LA City section record. So that's why he gets the shout out.
Yeah, I know Coach Elijah Asante is getting things going over there. I think I want to say they've lost like 3 in a row or 3 out of the last 4, something of that nature. So the Yankees are on hard times. However, in the city section, pretty much everybody makes the playoffs. So they will be a Division I contender.
Leslie with a great individual performance, and that takes us to other top performances this week in all of Southern California. We'll start with Byron Bell there, who had a nice effort for Monrovia in the win over San Marino. Julian Medina, Norco quarterback, we mentioned that game. Look at the numbers he put up in the loss to Centennial. That was the 59-49 game. Martinez, the DB of Vista Muriel. How about 2 pick sixes in the same game? You get 1, you're thrilled. How about 2? But those weren't the only great performances. There were some good ones in the city section as well. Chris Fields, the quarterback at Carson, 6 TDs in the win over Narbonne. Not a surprise, the Gauchos are down. I've seen Michael Gonzalez. This quarterback's really good at Southgate. You see the numbers in the air and on the ground. That's historic type numbers for one game. And there's Jack Thomas. He seems to be there every week, the quarterback at Palisades. Over 400 yards and 7 more touchdowns in the win over the aforementioned Hamilton team.
Yeah, I think this late in the season, big performances are important. The wins are important. And it's nice to see your key players pouring in big-time performances before the postseason.
Here's a stunner in flag football in the LA City section. Wilson has got a good record. They're 23-1, so maybe it's not a stunner. They knocked off previously undefeated Eagle Rock by an 18-7 score. But what makes it so interesting,
I saw this, yeah.
The 3 games prior, Wilson had lost. This is unbelievable. The scores here are 62-0, 58-0, and 51-8, and yet they turn the tables on the Eagle Rock Eagles. All right, speaking of turn the tables, it's time for Point Counterpoint. And our subject today, who is the best coach currently going in high school football? Could be his career, could be this season. Tarek Fatal, who's your best coach in high school football?
There are certainly great coaches out there. The one I think of right now is Rio Hondo Prep's Mark Carson for taking a little program, kind of neighborhood kids and winning CIF championships. So I want to give him a shout out, but my choice for you, it's got to be Jason Negro of St. John Bosco. A standard of excellence year in, year out. They seem to only lose to Mater Dei, if it happens ever. And other than that, they're in championship contention every year. Look, at Mater Dei is a little bit down this year. Who's still up? St. John Bosco. And that has a lot to do with Jason Negro, the culture he instills in those Braves players, and the development, the younger levels too, the health in the freshman program, the health in the JV program. So he's not just a great head coach, Randy, he's a great CEO, and that's what you need at these high-level programs.
That's a really good take, because I thought of Jason Negro on this subject matter. There's no question. I also thought of Jim Rose out at Birmingham. He's won 1 million championships as the head coach. He was an assistant on teams when Ed Croson was there, and they won 4 city titles. I think he's got about 8 or so, and he's won a flag football coaching championship as well. That's Jim Rose at Birmingham. But my number one guy has to be Matt Logan at Corona Centennial. He's been there nearly 30 years. He just picked up his 300th career victory. We can all do the math. That's 10 wins a year. That's pretty good. How about 10 CIF championships? How about state titles? How about All-Americans and pros? 22 of his players have gone on to the NFL. And he's just a lovable guy. But what I love about him, and Negro gets transfers and does all that stuff, so does Jim Rose at Birmingham. Corona Centennial is a community school. And I'm not saying they're not getting good players, because their numbers are up. But Matt Logan has done a phenomenal job. And last ad, he came up as a defensive coordinator. He was an assistant DC when he started. But he's now known as the guru of offense. He's got that spread attack, and they go fast. So a guy who was defensive-minded is great on offense. Matt Logan's my guy, and that's point counterpoint.
Pretty good.
You like that one, huh?
Yeah, that was pretty good. No, yeah, Matt Logan is, I mean, not to mention, like, the classiest guy out there, too.
I said he's lovable.
Yeah, he's a good dude, man, and I hope he keeps coaching for a little bit longer.
If we ever need to kill time on this show, all we talk about is Matt Logan.
That's good.
We got to kill 30 seconds. Matt Logan's the greatest.
Yeah.
All right, here's some key games in prep football this week, and obviously we're going to start with this one. Tomorrow night, Mater Dei, Bosco. Mater Dei beat them twice last year, won the national title. Bosco's favored this year.
If the numbers I previewed this game earlier this week. Since 2016 in Trinity League play, Mater Dei has them 7-2. In Division I championships, Mater Dei has the edge only 4-3. So Bosco always tends to actually play better in that second meet. However, I think this will be a rare year they do not see each other a second time. You
like Sierra Canyon, I think. That's what he's saying. We got a bad football team we're going to show right now. Orange Lutheran? They're 2-7. How can they be any good?
Yeah.
They're playing Servite. This should be a route, right?
No. I mean,
forfeits.
As we all know, a retroactive forfeit penalty for Orange Lutheran. They were 4-4, dropped to 2-6, and then lost last week. So yeah, that's a toss-up game. And let me tell you something. That's going to mean something for Trinity League play. Not necessarily if a team makes or doesn't make the playoffs, but positioning within the Division I playoffs.
Santa Margarita's on track to finish second in the Trinity League.
Yes.
They're a heavy favorite against
it's going to happen.
Sarah. Well, unless Mater Dei wins, right?
No, because they technically finish second because they have the head-to-head. Not to like.
You're getting technical.
No, I'm not. You asked me.
So what would the records be? They'd all be the same, wouldn't they?
Yeah, but you have to still. Yes, they would be the same, but you still have to place your league placement.
I'm not a rules guy. I just look at records. That's all I care about.
They would get a share of the league title.
But St. John Bosco is probably going to win tomorrow night anyway, so
that's
Santa
true.
Margarita's going to finish second. All right, how about Chaparral and Centennial? Chaparral have any chance? They're a good football team. No.
Well, after a coin flip and a 6th place finish, no, I'm kidding. Yeah, Chaparral is really good, man. Can score a lot of points. I just don't think they're going to be able to hang with Centennial for 4 quarters. I wouldn't be surprised if that game was tight at halftime and then Centennial pulled away.
How about this one tonight? And again, we built it up when we were showing the rankings in the city. Carson and San Pedro. The game's at San Pedro. Carson appears to be a very good football team. That's going to be a good one. And so is Mission Viejo and Los Alamitos. We'll talk about that in a second. But let's talk about this Carson-San Pedro game first in the city. Who do you like there?
Yeah, I think I got to go Carson. They got the quarterback, man. Chris Fields throwing it down. I know Pedro, I always say San Pedro to me is like a classic Big Ten football team. They got the size. They like to run the ball. I'm not sure if they're airing it out a little bit more these days, to be honest with you. It sounds like they are. And Randy's giving me the big head nod. Be that as it may, I think I like Carson, a little more tradition there, and a great new coach. And I couldn't even tell you his name right now, but I know that everyone's raving and ranting about him.
Well, Fields is a great quarterback for Carson, but Seth Solario is having a big year for San Pedro. That could be an aerial show tonight, but I kind of lean toward Carson as well. And then there's Eagle Rock and Garfield. Now, these are two teams that are going into the playoffs. We don't know exactly where.
But the winner of this game,
it's the Eastern League against the Northern League. The winner's going to get into the open division.
Yeah, this is basically whoever wins probably goes open. Maybe they both go open, honestly. It's one of those years where the open division, in my opinion, is very top-heavy. So definitely a result to keep an eye on.
I know we had a graphic up about Mission Viejo and Los Alamitos. They're both 8-1. This is going to be on TV live right here tonight.
Who's on the call?
That's a good question. Chuck Price is one of them. Jenna Parcio.
Okay.
She's on the sideline, and they'll have some elderly statesman calling the play-by-play. So yeah,
Randy, come on.
We're doing a little double duty, and we got another game tomorrow night as well. Did you know that?
I think I did.
Culver City traveling to Inglewood, and that has playoff implications as well in the Bay League. Busy weekend for the folks here at LA 36.
Hey, real quick, if you got a chance on that game, see if Jason Crow shows up. Be a good interview.
Enough with the basketball, all right?
Okay,
We'll get to the basketball. Tarek loves hoops, so he's always going to talk about basketball. Speaking of Tarek, Tarek's going to be a star this week. He's got his bracket show coming out on Sunday.
Thank
I mean,
you.
you got to tell us about what's working here, and you're going to have those. They're supposed to come out at 10, but you're going to display the brackets at 6 o'clock in the morning, or what?
Okay, I was like, wait, where's he going?
That's a dig with that.
No, listen, the last 2 years I've done a bracket reveal show, and clearly the Southern Section football community really likes it. Coaches, programs, players, parents, uncles, aunties, grandparents, maybe, administrators. They like it. It's fun. It's a fun way. It's a Selection Sunday feel. So Sunday at 9:40 on Fattel Factor, a special edition. On YouTube. You just go Google Fattel Factor YouTube. You'll find it. And at 9:40, I'll be live. We'll get people into the chat. It'll be a great, fun viewing experience. And at the second 10 o'clock hits, I'll have that Division I bracket up.
Wow.
And we'll go. And it's not it won't be a full. I'll go through every single bracket so we can see the pairings.
That'll be great. Speaking of pairings, a couple things are going on now. We have the volleyball going on for the CIF Southern Section. Sierra Canyon's the favorite. They've moved into the semifinals. Loyola's got a very strong team there as well, but Sierra Canyon's highly regarded. So the Trailblazers are the favorite in volleyball.
Man, it's going to be them or Mater Dei. And actually, I got to give Jack Paulin another shout out. I believe it's something crazy like Sierra Canyon girls volleyball has never beaten Mater Dei, and I think it's something like 9-0.
Wow.
Mater Dei all time has beaten Sierra Canyon. If you combine football, I think it's like 11-0. Sierra Canyon in football and girls volleyball has never beaten Mater Dei. And I bring that up because I do think Sierra Canyon will beat Marymount and Mater Dei will win their son. I think you're going to see a Sierra Canyon Mater Dei Division I final.
I think I call them Loyola. I always do that.
Yeah.
But it's Marymount.
Yeah.
Technically, it's really Loyola.
Okay.
But it is Marymount. And they're a great program.
Yes, they are.
And they've been strong in girls volleyball for a long time. Last week on this show, I told you that the Toronto Blue Jays had a great chance in the World Series.
Okay, I got something to say.
And again, growing up in LA, we're rooting for the Dodgers, and they still have a chance. They got to go there tomorrow and pull out Game 6 and win Game 7. But I just think the matchups, the way they play, and the bat-to-ball contact of Toronto is very impressive.
I'll give you that. A more consistent foundation to their game. However, I will say this about the Blue Jays, man. After that 18-inning loss, as remarkable as that victory was in Freddie Freeman, it is more remarkable for that Blue Jays team to bounce back from that loss and win a World Series. That is a kudos to that clubhouse. Remarkable if they can pull it off.
Yeah, they haven't won it yet, but they have won the last two games in tennis set scores, 6-2, 6-1. So, this is a best 3 out of 5 match if you're looking at tennis because they split the first two. But the Dodgers have a real difficult assignment going there.
Yes, they do.
Yamamoto's good, so you think the Dodgers have a great chance in Game 6. If it gets to Game 7,
anything goes.
Anything goes, but you got to favor Toronto. But it's great that the Dodgers have had such great success, won the title last year. But this is a different animal. The Yankees last year played the same kind of power game as the Dodgers, so the Dodgers could match them and actually outplay them because they were the better overall team. This year, again, Toronto, a different type of team. Tarek, you going to a game tonight, or you staying? How's
Nope.
the kid doing, by the way?
Yeah, good.
How's Alden?
Alden's doing good. Thank you. 2 weeks old now. Very healthy, growing. Last out on the Blue Jays. I think there's a lot of pressure to close the series out. So I do think the Dodgers get Game 6, and we will have a 7-game series. No game tonight. St. John Bosco on Friday.
Yeah, the big game tonight, Los Alamitos, right here.
Who's on the call?
Los Alamitos and Mission Viejo. We got to go. I got to get to the game. I'm on the call. We'll see you next time, right here on SoCal.
Come on.
Report. Let's see your arm again. Show off. Show off. Good job.
Not even close.
No, it was bad. That might have been your worst throw the whole time we've ever done the show. You fell down.